Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you've ever tried to add a little more flavor to your German sentences, describe something in more detail, and then suddenly gotten completely tangled up in the grammar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we are cracking the code to German relative clauses. Here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why we even need these things. Then, I'm going to give you a super simple, what I call a two-key system to get them right every time. We'll see it in action, I'll show you how to dodge the most common traps, and then you'll get a chance to practice. Ready? Let's jump in.
All right, first up, why should you even care about this piece of grammar? Well, it's simple. It's the difference between speaking in boring, simple sentences and speaking with rich, interesting detail. It's a total game changer. I mean, just look at the difference here. You can say, that is the man. Okay, fine. Or you can say, that is the man who plays cricket. See? Suddenly, we know exactly which man we're talking about. That extra little piece of info, the part in bold, that's your relative clause. It's how you specify what you're referring to.
So how do we actually build these things correctly without just guessing and hoping for the best? Forget trying to memorize a million different sentences. All you need is the two-key system. Think of it like a formula that just works every single time. Okay, here's the entire system on one slide. There are just two keys you need to figure out which pronoun to use, and one golden rule for the word order. Key number 1, match the pronoun's gender and number to the noun it's describing. Easy enough. Key number 2, and listen up, this is the most important part. The pronoun's case is decided by its job only inside the new little clause. And finally, the golden rule? I call it the verb-kicker. That pronoun acts like a verb kicker. It literally boots the verb to the very end of its own clause. Now, take a look at this table. The good news is most of these should look really familiar. They're pretty much the same as the definite articles, right? Der, die, das, denen, but you've got to pay attention to the ones that are different, the ones in bold. In the dative plural, it's always denen. And for possession, the genitive case, you've got dessen and deren. Those are the special ones you really need to lock in.
All right, theory's one thing, but let's see how this actually works. We're going to take our little system and apply it to some real-world examples.
Let's start with a nice, easy one, the nominative case. Kedar is the man who plays cricket. So, the pronoun here is Kedar. And notice our verb kick rule in action. See where the verb spielt is? Kicked all the way to the end. Perfect. So, how did we get der? Let's use our keys. Key 1. Gender and number. The noun is der Mann, so we know our pronoun has to be masculine and singular. Got it. Key 2. Case. Now we look only at the new clause. Who plays cricket? We ask the question, who is doing the action? Who is playing? The man is. He's the subject, and the subject is always nominative. So, masculine, singular, nominative, it has to be der. See? Okay, now let's switch it up. Accusative. Kedar is the man whom I meet. The sentence structure looks almost the same, but wait, the pronoun just changed from der to den. Why did that happen? Let's run the system again. Key 1 is the same. Der Mann is masculine singular. But for key 2, the case, we look inside our new clause, whom I meet. Let's ask our question. Who is doing the action here? I am. I'm the subject. So what's the man's job? I meet. Whom? The man. He is the one being met. He's the direct object. And in German, the direct object always takes the accusative case. And that is why der flips to den. All right, next up, the dative. Kedar is the man with whom I play. Now there is a giant flashing signal on this slide telling you what's going on. It's that little word mit, with. That preposition is your key. Okay, let's run the check. Key 1, still masculine, singular, der Mann. Now for the case. Inside our new clause, we see with whom I play. Here's the thing about a preposition like mit. It's a bully. It shows up and it forces whatever comes after it into a specific case. Mit always demands the dative case. So our pronoun has no choice. It has to be dative. Masculine dative is dame. And finally, the genitive. This one's actually pretty easy because it's all about possession. Kedar is the man whose car is red. The German word for whose is right there, dessen.
It's a direct translation of the concept.
So let's do it one last time. We know our noun is masculine and singular. Now what's its job inside the new clause? Well, it's showing that the car belongs to the man. It answers the question, whose car is it? That is the job of the genitive case. And for a masculine noun, that pronoun is dessen. You see, the system works. You figure out the job, you know the case. Oh, and a quick but important side note. Sometimes you'll see these clauses plopped right into the middle of a sentence, like this one. The car that I bought is expensive. Don't let that freak you out. The rules are exactly the same. The little relative clause, das ich gekauft habe, still does its verb kick. See habe at the very end? The main sentence just pauses and then picks up right where it left off.
Now, I'm going to be real with you. When you start using these, you are going to make mistakes. Everybody does. It's just a normal, totally necessary part of learning. So let's get ahead of the game and look at the most common traps so you know what to watch out for.
These are the big four. Number 1, by a long shot, is picking the case based on the main sentence instead of the little clause. Number 2 is not matching the gender or number correctly. 3 is forgetting that all-important verb kick. And 4 is forgetting about that special dative plural form, denen, but seriously, that first one is the one we really need to nail down. Let's really zoom in on this number 1 mistake. It is so easy to look at der Mann in the main clause and think, okay, the pronoun must be der. But that's a trap. Remember, you have to mentally ignore the main clause for a second. Look only at ich treffe. Inside that clause, the man is the object, which means he must be accusative. He must be den. Always check the job inside the new clause.
Okay, you've seen the system, you've seen the examples, you know the traps to look out for. You officially have all the tools you need. So now it's your turn to put this into practice.
Okay, here's your first challenge. You want to combine these two sentences to say, I know the man with whom I work. So take a second. Think about the noun. Think about the job it's doing in that new little clause. What pronoun do you need?
And the answer is, mit dem ich arbeite. How'd you do? Let's just break it down super quick. Key 1, our noun is Mann, so it's masculine. Key 2, inside the new clause, we have that bully preposition mit. And what does mit always demand? The dative case. Masculine dative? That's dame. Perfect. The system works. All right, time for one final challenge to take with you. How would you combine these to say, the film that we saw yesterday was boring? This one's a little trickier because that relative clause is going to be stuck right in the middle. Feel free to pause here, apply that two-key system, and see if you can crack the code for yourself. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and happy learning.